Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it continues to be a lovely day here in the Ozarks. I mean, there's not a cloud in the sky at all. A little bit of a breeze, very nice. Supposed to get some rain, maybe 4 or 5 inches this weekend. They're calling for quite the heavy Memorial Day weekend. Speaking of that, this Sunday is our local meeting. If you can come out to it, please do so. If you're a regular, it's the same time, same place as always. None of that ever changes. So it's this Sunday, 2 p.m., and it should be a good one. They're always good. They're always good, you know, regardless of what the topic is or anything. Just to be able to come and kind of, you know, re-energize yourself. I said no clouds, and yet I see one behind me, but in front of me I don't see any clouds. Just to kind of rejuvenate you, meet with others. So, and we also have a good, nice vendor area now. A lot of different businesses, people come that make things and stuff, sell and trade. So if you're able to, come out this Sunday to our meeting. I think I was kind of right on something, at least several things here lately, that's kind of happened in the news today. And right now, if you went and you checked social media about what's going on today, you're going to probably be inundated with a meeting in the White House between Donald Trump and the president of South America. And it was kind of like the whole Zelensky. Remember when he came? It was a lot, and I'm not going to get into it. I think personally that stuff is for show. It's a show, right? You can cheer on or you can boo, it doesn't matter, but I think it's all just a show. But I also think that stuff is it's distracting from other things happening today. You know, I'd mentioned to you that Israel is already, you know, they're planning on attacking Iran's nuclear sites. It's pretty much as much as confirmed as it can be that they are making plans to soon do that. Well, it came out today, some information that the United States is assisting in that we are gathering intelligence and data, you know, using our satellites and drones and all that kind of stuff to give Israel information. So just like I've been telling you, this whole deal of, oh, we've turned our back on Israel, it's all a big show. It's all a big show. If the president's supposed to, not the president, but his people down the line quite a bit are still trying to work out this deal with Iran. Iran says that it's just not going to happen, that they're so far apart there's no way they could come together. And yet at the same time, the United States is assisting Israel in coming up with an attack plan against Iran. Iran sees this stuff, they hear about it. Do you think they want to work with the United States? How can we trust you? I'm not for Iran. I'm just trying to have an unbiased opinion here. And so it is starting. Also today, along with that, the Russia and Iran kind of solidified their relationship, I guess you could say. They signed an agreement that's been talked about for weeks, months now, but they finally signed this treaty or whatever between the two of them, that they would come to each other's aid, they would, you know, economically partner and all this kind of stuff. So that happened today, and that's pretty significant. Also, I made my video this morning talking about the bond market in Japan and all that kind of stuff. Well, I think I'm definitely on to something, because today more stuff happened. Yes, Japan is selling off. They are selling off some of their bonds. It's not a mass free fall sale, but they are doing it. And the United States is trying to resell. They're trying to sell these bonds, these treasuries, and they're doing it at a discount. They're having sales, you know. So if we, you know, let's say the Treasury has $50 billion in bonds that they're trying to get rid of, they'll say, hey, you know, if you want it for $25 billion, we'll give it to you half off deal. This is like, you know, some discount store. Well, they did that today, and no one bought them. No one was interested. They didn't. No one was buying them. And so because of that, the bond market just shot straight up. Which, again, remember, this is not the stock market. When the bonds go up for the government, that's really, really bad. Which that means you and I. That's bad. And so you see this spike here on the 20-year Treasury, and it did the same thing on the 10 and the 30. It spiked up at the same time the stock market took a nosedive. And while this particular incident is not the end-all, be-all, end-of-the-world kind of scenario, what it's doing is it's showing you what's going on. It's showing you that, number one, yes, U.S. treasuries are being sold off. They're being dumped. People don't want them anymore because the United States is in so much debt. Japan is selling them off because they are going under. And, it would be like if you had a bunch of money wrapped up in the stock market, right? If you had a bunch of money invested in the stock market, but then your own personal finances start taking a hit. You're in debt, and your income now can't cover the debt, so you're going under. You're on the verge of bankruptcy. You're on the verge of, your house being repossessed. All of this kind of stuff because you've got this debt to pay off, and now your income isn't paying for it. But yet you still have, all of this money wrapped up in the stock market. What are you going to do? You're going to sell your stocks, right? You're going to sell off your stocks, all, some, whatever it takes, so that you don't go into bankruptcy, so that you don't lose your home. That's right where Japan is right now. They're on the verge of losing their shirt. They have all this money invested in the United States treasuries, but they're losing their shirt. So their option is to just, we don't want to hurt the United States, so we'll hold on to that, but everything else collapses. Or, hey, we got to take care of our own. We're going to sell off a bunch of these treasuries so that we can, prop up our own economy. So that's what's happening. And because of just where things are with the United States, debt, the credit rating dropping and stuff, people don't want to buy it. The only ones that's been buying U.S. debt lately, for the most part, has been the Fed. The Fed is printing money, and they're purchasing U.S. debt, which also means that the Fed will have an even greater control over the United States. Just like how we've talked about for decades, many of you know this because you've been in this game a long time, of how China has always had kind of that over our head. We own a bunch of your debt, so we kind of have a little bit of control over you. Well, now if the Fed is the one that starts buying it and they become the biggest owner of all this debt, which they are, now they have a greater control, which they've always had. I know that's what a lot of you are saying right now. It's the Fed. They've always had a lot, but now it's just more. It's bigger. Okay, and it shows that our economy is doing worse because no one wants to buy U.S. treasuries. You can sit there and say, "Oh, the economy's doing great." Don't pay attention that everyone in the country is delinquent on their loans, or that more people are delinquent on loans than ever. Don't pay attention that the housing bubble is the biggest it's ever been in history. Don't pay attention that inflation is still high, even though the year-over-year, month-over-month inflation looks reasonable. The inflation over the last 5 years is 15 to 20% at minimum. The rest of the world's starting to notice this, and the fact that the proposed budgets this year are going to put us somewhere in the neighborhood of an additional $4 trillion. So it's very possible that this year that we could top $40 trillion in debt this year. May not, but we're going to get close to it. And so the rest of the world is seeing that, and they're not interested in buying U.S. debt. And that is a huge, huge, huge deal. For those of you that know, that's a huge deal. That's way bigger than the stock market. That's way bigger than a lot of other stuff. If no one is interested in buying U.S. debt, that's huge. This country could default. Our currency could hyperinflate. There's a lot of possibilities there, and none of them are really good. So I wanted to bring this out, that this morning I made a video talking about this, and then lo and behold, today this came out in the news. So I would start. If you ain't started prepping yet, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. You may be able to do a little stuff, but you're in trouble. For the rest of you, it's time to get very serious. this kind of stuff, all this distraction that's going on, wars, and defaulting in the United States government, that's some big stuff. Get ready, folks. Get your houses in order. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.